Over 100 million gears are spinning over the roads in the transmissions of our automobiles. The engine on this model is running at a constant speed of 90 revolutions a minute.
The history of the Auburn Automobile Company started with the Eckhart family, who founded a carriage building business here in the town of Auburn in 1874. The carriage company was somewhat successful, and around about the turn of the 20th century, they became aware of a new invention, the horseless carriage, that might have a great impact on their business. So they took a look at the manufacture of the Auburn automobile, which they came up with in 1903. They achieved a fair amount of success with the car, enough to encourage the company to build a plant dedicated solely to the production of the automobile. The company had a tremendous impact on Northeast Indiana. At one time, the company employed over 1,000 people in this area. Smaller companies sprouted up around the bigger company to supply parts and services. Before World War I, there were 10 other automobile companies in this town that produced cars as well. So this area was becoming known as Little Detroit for a while, just because of its automobile manufacturing centers.
With the passing of Mr. Eckert in 1915 and the country on the verge of an economic recession following World War I, cars simply stopped selling. Desperate to keep the company alive, investors turned to renowned car enthusiast E.L. Cord. Cord made a unique offer. He'd work for the company with no pay, as long as he had the ability to buy stocks and could take a percent of the profits. In the summer of 1924, Cord started at Auburn. By November of 1925, he owned it.
Once E.L. Cord took over, the sales of Auburn automobiles just grew exponentially, and he was quite successful. Successful enough, he introduced another line of cars, the Cord automobile, the first successful front-wheel drive car, and he also purchased the floundering Duesenberg company from Indianapolis and charged them with the challenge of building America's most grand and most luxurious automobile, the fabulous Model J Duesenberg.
Though relatively small, the impact they had on the automobile industry was astounding. The company introduced many innovations still utilized today, including X-member frames, retractable headlights, four-wheel hydraulic brakes, and the ever-popular supercharged engines. Not only did they change the way cars were built in the U.S., they changed the car industry across the world, exporting to 99 different countries in its height.
The Auburn Automobile Company reached its zenith in 1931 when they produced over 33,000 automobiles. This was enough to put Auburn at number 13 among all United States manufacturers, which was quite significant in those days when you consider there were about 50 manufacturers. E.L. Cord was once quoted as saying, "A conquered challenge is no longer any fun." And he had felt as if he had come to the town of Auburn, taken an ailing company, turned it around, made it extremely successful, and now it was time for him to move on to other challenges. When he left the town of Auburn, the company was never the same.
That year would be the last the company took a profit. By 1937, faced with the looming Great Depression, it was over. The doors closed on the Auburn Automobile Company and Duesenberg, where they remained closed until 1974.
The Auburn Cord Duesenberg Automobile Museum is the only automobile museum that is located in the original factory headquarters building. Sometimes we hear people say, even if this place didn't have cars in it, it would be interesting to come here just because of its structure. We have approximately 120 cars on exhibit. Some of the cars are one of a kind. They may be prototype or in some cases recreation of famous show cars. Many of our cars have celebrity owners. Every one of them has a story behind them. The 20s and 30s are known as the golden age of the classic automobiles. Many of these cars are hand-built, one of a kind. Unlike today's automobiles that are pretty much all the same, look the same, these are the ones that have the artistic glamour. There just wasn't anything like it then, and there's very little like it today. We like to think of this place as a time machine. It just takes you back to a different era The building itself, the contents, and what you see reminds us all of what made this country great and what was accomplished all those 75, 80 years ago or more in the way of industry.